freezing weather. It's terrible. Okay, everybody, welcome to Spirit Cafe Sessions with Nikki and see, see where we got it. We got it now. We are super excited to bring you this episode. Kim, you want to tell everybody what it's about?
Well, it is about winter blues, Christmas season coming, and we're going to talk
Spiritual burnout.
maybe, yeah, spiritual burnout and kind of reasons why you're maybe feeling like this so that you can have an
Mhm.
understanding and hopefully that will help you.
Exactly. Exactly. And I am having a Christmas tea actually. It's a cold tea because I just didn't want anything hot. So it's like a peach Mai Tai Christmas something tea from David's Tea, and now I can't remember what it is. I don't even do they have it this year? I don't know, but I love it. I love it. It's so good. It is sweet, so I never add anything with it, but it's so fruity and it's got a little bit of a minty taste to it, which I absolutely love. Yeah, so drinking it in my no mug today.
No mugs today.
No mug today. But let's check in with what the tarot card of the week is because we're inching closer to Christmas. And by the time this episode airs, my God, people are probably going to be swamped with shopping, errands, cleaning, decorating. If you haven't already, of course, because it is the second week of December going on to the third week. So for some people, I mean, some people start super early.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be the one that hasn't started yet.
Oh,
So,
I used to always wait last minute, but my kids, they make me like I everything was up a week early this year.
oh,
Last week of November it was up. Usually I am the very last one, but the last couple years not with these kids. Not with these kids. Okay, you know what's interesting is this card tried to come out, so I shoved it back in the deck because I do that sometimes, and it came out.
uh-oh. So it means
No,
something.
it's a great card. It's the Empress. Which I absolutely love. This is the divine feminine. This is being centered. This is being, conscious. This is about knowing yourself. I mean, she's the embodiment of all the queens in the tarot deck. She's just, I mean, there's no way that I can just describe her other than being the divine feminine, being very centered and knowing herself and just knowing that everything in her life is going to work out. It is very, some people see it as goddess energy. So, very well. You could be feeling very in tune with yourself this week coming. You could just feel very calm. You could feel very lovely. Like the whole energy of the divine feminine is love. It's just loveliness, right? It's stepping into your power, knowing who you are, and just kind of accepting it, accepting who you are, that you're most likely different than everybody else that's out there. You see things completely different than most people. I feel like this is actually a pretty nice card to get for the theme of this episode being, winter blues and spiritual burnout or whatever. Because the divine feminine is nothing but calm and centered and observant. Right. So I think this is a pretty interesting card, and we might find ourselves in this space this week.
Well, I have a feeling that that's kind of what we're going to talk about. So, yay.
Yay. I am excited. Kim's going to read us something very interesting soon, which I think a lot of people will resonate with, or I hope resonate with anyway. And we'll discuss it. And then, of course, we'll invite you guys to discuss it in comments, in, however you'd like to, whether you email or DM us. But Kim, do you want to talk a little bit of what you're going to read later?
Yes. As a minister for a spiritualist church, we do talk about spiritualism and things surrounding. So, in my particular church, St. Bridget's Spiritualist Church, we have a guide whose name is Silver Birch, and he was channeled by Maurice Barbanel. So, if you know anything about spiritualism, or you've studied it, these names probably sound very familiar to you. But Silver Birch has some very beautiful, sometimes archaic, sometimes the language is a little archaic, but some very beautiful reasons and thoughts as to why things are happening or how things are happening and how they see it in the spirit world. All right. So they kind of give answers. So I'm going to read from this, and it's there's a bunch of books. You can get them through the spiritualist truth foundation in the UK. It costs an arm and a leg and three donkeys to get it to come from the but I do order the whole series a few years ago. And so I have it. And so it's one of the books, and it's More Philosophy of Silver Birch, and it's compiled by Tony Ordson. So I will read from that, and it'll be about celebrations in the spirit world.
I love that. I love, you know what, that's very necessary, I think, because as the season trickles on, um it can get very heavy for people.
Mm.
And not just for the reasons that are very obvious, like, oh, we got to make sure we've got gifts for this person, this. We got to make sure that the meal is perfect, the tree is up, everything's great, blah blah blah. Teachers have gifts, kids have whatever. What a lot of people underestimate, I think, with this season is how they feel disconnected from it. Because I'm telling you, as someone who's never, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like Christmas. I've never liked Christmas. My favorite Christmas movie is The Grinch, the original cartoon. Not that I don't like the Jim Carrey version, I do, but I love the original Grinch cartoon. Um, I've never really been a fan of Christmas because even at a young age, I knew that there's something weird here. It's not right. There's something that's not what's going on here, right? Of course, when I was a kid, I enjoyed the presents. Who didn't? But as you grew up, it's more commercialized than it's ever been, and
You realize there's more of that opposed to the magic that you may or may not.
exactly, exactly. And then I find with spiritual burnout, which by the way, guys, is a form of depression, is a form of disconnect. But I find that in this season, the magic season, right, as they call it, um, it can be exceptionally heavy because we feel like we have to force it, not just force everything to be perfect, like in our 3D, in our reality, but we feel like we have to force it emotionally and spiritually. And that is something that I talked about last year with a few people who brought it up to me, who booked readings and said that they're really excited for Christmas, for this reason, but they feel so disconnected and so not like um they didn't feel it. They didn't feel Christmas. The amount of people that I read for last year that just basically told me they didn't feel Christmas in a sense made me realize how many people spiritually burn out during the season.
Yeah, it's brutal because you got to think too. This is also not only like Christmas and the pressures of what everybody feels like, the expectations you're supposed to have.
Right.
So you're just from even with like the commercials and just people in general, it's just like a big sense of this is how you need to feel. And as soon as you
Yes.
feel like that, you think, oh, is there something lacking? Is there something wrong?
Yes.
But you also got to remember, not everybody had a family growing up.
Hmm.
Not everybody had anything stable. Not everybody had gifts. Not everybody had magical holidays. Sometimes
Yeah.
there could be fights amongst the family, or it could be the first Christmas that you're spending without a loved one, whether that's because of a separation, whether
Hmm. Hmm.
or that they've transitioned. Um, there's so many things that change, and we just put so much expectation on ourselves because we are told that's how we should feel.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, you're so right. Yeah. No, and that's true. And I'm glad that you brought that up because that whole thing about how you're trying to force the magic or whatever you say, and then you can't feel it. You think there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, by the way, if you can't force it. I mean, burnout this in December and January. I mean, January even has that one day. What is that one day? It's like the most depressive day of the year.
The third Monday, usually
Yeah.
Blue
Yeah.
Monday.
Blue Monday, that's it. Thank you very much. Blue Monday. But I feel like that Blue Monday for so many people, it's actually moves into December. It's now December onward. It's December and January, to be honest, in my opinion. And it's just something I'm observed. We're not Kim and I are not saying that everyone's gonna feel this way because we know people who don't. We know lots of people who don't, but we've noticed over the few years that there's more people that do,
Yeah.
right?
And just because somebody's got all their poop in a group and they've got all their lights up and they got the Christmas shopping done and everything else,
Mhm.
I actually had someone the other day, they said, "Why do you have all your stuff up already? Why is everything decorated?" And they said, "Christmas makes me cry, and this is the only way that I can try to get some happiness." So they've had something significant in their in
Huh.
their so this is they try to overcompensate to get there. So, don't assume that everybody has this idyllic, life,
Mhm.
and I think that's really big for people. The big goal is to feel comfortable in you with you, comfortable with these dates. Stop putting it's like, I did a reading, it's like, "Oh, I'm really upset because I'm, 32 and I don't have any children, and I'm not married." And it's like, who told you that that's how it has to be? Like,
That's
you
not
need
failing. That's
but people need to stop putting those expectations on dates, on times, timelines on things
yes.
because this is not how it works,
Mm-mm.
and that's why so many people, I think, struggle, especially at this time of year,
Mhm.
um, because they're so, like you just feel like a failure,
Yeah.
and also, it's very well known if you watch, kind of a lot more people will cross over at this time of year.
Yes. Mhm. Yep,
And a
always.
lot because it's okay, well, I got here and now I'm done or
Mhm.
whatever, anticipation, like there's not necessarily it's natural, sometimes it's by their own hand. Like there's just so many things. So
Yeah.
people really gotta take any pressure off themselves for any
Yeah.
expectation at any time of the year.
Yeah. I think that's important that you said that because you're right. Expectations at this time of the year seem to be higher than any other time of the year. If you can't feel the magic and you're trying and you're not feeling it, then don't. Stop trying. Stop. Don't force it because that I'm telling you that is the worst thing that you can do in a season that is supposed to be so joyful, but already half the time has all this heavy energy around it because like Kim said expectations and it's so commercialized. I mean, people have lost the true meaning of Christmas. They have. It's everywhere. We all know it. There's no arguing with that. We all watch It's a Wonderful Life, Scrooge. We all love it. We all say we get it. Do we though? Do we? No. 9 times out of 10, no. We lose the sight or the messages behind those movies, right? Behind those kind of stories, which is not entirely our fault because like Kim says, look at the expectations. Look at the expectations. I gotta make sure that I have enough money, so I better pick up extra shifts at work because this person wants this gift. I gotta make sure that this person's getting this as part of the meal because that's the only thing that they want to eat. I gotta make sure that I have gifts for the teachers. I have to make sure that like we watch those movies, we understand like those movies are wonderful depictions of the holiday spirit, right?
Mhm.
Those like honestly. And we watch them and we realize them and we accept them, but we struggle with bringing those kind of energies into our life still. And then we get upset and then we get frustrated and then we get sad because we don't feel what we think we should feel.
Our life
Right?
isn't, some kind of rom-com where you have a, moral of the, or theme
Yeah.
of the story or lesson of the episode. You know, you're not gonna figure this stuff out just, because you've bought the special fruitcake that nobody eats anyhow,
Yeah.
or, you put your tree up, on a certain date. Like, none of this is going to make you learn the things that you need to learn inside yourself.
Yeah. No, it's a very good point. And honestly, if you don't feel like doing something for this holiday, if you don't feel connected to something, whether it's, we all have our traditions. If you're forcing a tradition just for somebody else and you just can't, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't force anything you don't want to do. And I know people are gonna say, well, if I don't do it, then this person will be disappointed. This person will be disappointed. This person will be, well, then they can do it.
Yeah.
They
It's
can
not
do
a
it.
it's not you are not responsible for other people.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you have your children, but I do, with my children, we've had a few very different Christmases the last, couple years leading up to this year, and so they haven't been what we had traditionally done before.
Mhm.
I setting up the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve
Mm,
and, kind of pulling everything together really quick. And I just say to them, it doesn't matter what we do, what we get, who we see. Um, all that matters is that we are together as a family and
absolutely.
be together. So, if your family is a friend or, like it doesn't matter. Your family is
Mhm.
anybody you choose. It's
Yes.
because they're
Yes.
blood or somehow there's a piece of paper that says your family.
Hmm.
That your family is who you feel in your heart. And if you can somehow work something out, like something with them, then that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Just for your
Oh, I like
own
that.
love, like for your
Hmm.
own spirit to
Mm.
honor it. I
That's
don't
very
know.
interesting because I read something a couple weeks ago about how um, more and more people are choosing to spend the holidays, especially Christmas, Christmas Eve, alone, New Year's Eve, alone. They don't want to spend the money, which is fair. They don't want to track across a country. They don't want to, like, they are content and happy to spend it on their own. Um, and so if you feel like, I'm not saying do this, of course, but if you feel really like, you know what, every year I do this. I don't feel good. I hate doing it. It makes me miserable. I regret it. I want to spend Christmas alone. I want to do less at Christmas. Then do less. Like this is a season where everybody wants your attention. Everybody want holiday parties here, holiday dinner here. Like even in my life, dinner here, party here, dinner here, and I usually hit the target. I go to everyone, and my December is very busy. This year, I have said no to several because I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I got work to do at home. I want to film this amazing podcast with you. Like I have had to be like, you know what? I always say yes to this, 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 this. And then I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. So I'm not going to do that this year. I'm not going to do that, so and I already feel much lighter and so much more happier that I've said that. That I've said no to several things.
The biggest thing is that as parents, we also have to remember we are modeling for our children. So by
Yes.
taking that back, we're telling them you
Yeah.
don't have to spread yourself so thin that you don't
Yeah.
know how you're going to do it and enjoy nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
uh,
100%.
follow what's in your heart and like everything you do, your kids are watching,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So if you want them to have the type of life where they can make their own decisions and not feel forced or obligated to do certain things, I believe that that is the biggest gift for them, and we
100%.
realize that. We need to like normalize that so people aren't like, oh, well, she's just, she never wants to come in, like there's people, they
Yeah.
just never ever happy. Those people are never going to be happy no matter what.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you need
Exactly.
to look after
You know?
yourself, what's inside of you.
Yeah, no, and I love that, and that's such a good example because that is something I set with my kids. That is something I talk to my girls about all the time. The importance of school, important of responsibilities, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But I also try to teach the importance of boundaries. And not just physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, mental boundaries. Because it is very, very important. Because I don't want them to grow up expecting that they have to do all these freaking things and become like all these people in my life, I'll never name them, but that are miserable because they
Mhm.
have to do all these things because they think they have to do all these things. But it
Yeah.
makes them miserable doing them, especially at this time of year. It's also interesting enough the angriest time of year,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? Talk about spiritual burnout. Look at that about anger. And I see it, and I remember reading this article a couple years ago. It was in the New York Times, I believe. And I thought about just people in my life, how angry they get during the month of December, how because they have a short fuse, because money here, errands here, obligations here. They don't even want to do half the stuff. They don't even want
No,
to do it,
no,
right?
no. But they feel
So
obligated
very
and they're
important. Yeah,
and then
very
they're the ones
important with the
why
boundaries.
partner sucks because they're mad or been drinking and they start
Mhm.
telling on people
Yeah, exactly.
and then
Exactly. Honestly, guys, moral of the story, spiritual burnout, emotional burnout, mental burnout, all that stuff, all so high during this season. the biggest thing you can do is remove your energy where you can. If you are just feeling at your wits' end and you are feeling, I don't want to do this. Why do I feel I still have to do this? Remove your energy bit by bit. Remove your energy from situations. Find time for yourself. I mean, you guys, you must know that this is the advice we're going to give you because we preach this advice almost all the time with all these other circumstances in your guys' life. Pull your energy back. Don't do it just
Yeah.
because someone's telling you have to, right? Don't do it. If it doesn't resonate, don't do it,
And
right?
really strongly suggest that if there are things that you are struggling with because you think you have to do them, maybe write down a pros and cons list
Yeah.
and relating to you,
Yeah.
right? Like, and you know what, not what's going on, but how does this make me feel?
Mm-hmm.
What are things that aren't good about this?
Mm-hmm.
What are patterns in the past that made me not enjoy this or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Write it down so you can actually have something tangible to go, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
why. No, I'm not doing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that also a very good point. I love pros and cons lists. I do pros and cons lists all the time. I swear by them. You are going to hit me and Kim probably with, well, but I don't want to do that and I don't want to go to this thing. But if I don't, they're going to be so sad. They're going to be so disappointed in me. They will. They most likely will. If you do this, if you pull back your energy and you really put a little bit more on you, you are going to come across people that will be disappointed at you for taking a stance or drawing those boundaries, especially over this time of year. So you do have to expect that. And unfortunately, that's their feelings to go through, their things to process. And really, if your if your presence is missing from someone's life, whether it's at a dinner, a party, whether it's, you don't want to do a secret Santa exchange, you don't want to give gifts to this person because you don't know this person, all whatever. And if it's going to bother somebody, you need to let them deal with it because that is something that they have to figure out as to why something small like that actually bothered them. You know what I
Well,
mean?
celebration, kindness, charity, these are things that you need to do all year round, not just set into one day,
Yes.
you know? So think of it that way, and do it that way. Don't be saying,
Mhm.
okay, well, I have to do this. Like, my gosh, how does anybody expect to take care of absolutely everything on December
Absolutely.
26th?
No,
You know,
you can't.
don't do it.
Yeah, you can't. So, I mean, if you have to say no to a couple parties because you're overextended, say no. And then, you know what? Why don't you say, I'm really sorry. I'm not going to be able to make it this year. Let's get together in the new year. Let's get
Yeah.
together at a different time. If that person really does value your presence, if that situation is, if it, whatever situation that is, whether it's a person, whether it's event, whatever, if they really do value you, then it will be no problem to reschedule to after Christmas, right?
And how do you know they might be thinking the same darn thing? So you
Exactly,
can
half the time.
what? And they could be like, "Oh, thank goodness, because I have just moving on," right? So
Seriously,
you
yeah.
might that kind of interaction as well. You don't put, we're all people, human. Like we're just, our little vessels. We don't need to be stressing ourselves out. That stress that you're putting on yourself, those feelings of inadequacy
Mhm.
or doing enough, not being good enough. Those are the things that can really be toxic to you.
Yeah.
Those are the things that release things in your body. So, you can have like heart problems and, like mental health issues and things like that. I'm not saying that if you didn't have them, none of that be there because obviously there is
Mhm.
still some very organic reasons. But those things do not keep you healthy. They do not keep
Yep.
you moving. They just pull you in, and then as soon as you start getting pulled in, it's like going, if you go in the ocean and there's a huge current or something, like, they come in and
Mhm.
there's no stopping it. Like, if it comes
Mhm.
in, it'll take you away. So you need to
Absolutely.
really not get in that position.
No, absolutely. Another great point. Another great point. Absolutely. Um, Moral of the story, guys, before Kim does her amazing reading, which by the way, I have not actually looked this up or anything. I want to be surprised like you guys. I wanted to experience it firsthand like you guys when Kim begins reading it. But anyway, moral of the story, look at your expectations for the holiday season. Cut it down in half if you already feel overloaded. Honestly, a lot of things could be pushed into the new year. Probably 9 out of 10 things can be pushed in the new year, including dinners, including gift exchanges, including, prop buys. Um, Pretty sure.
Stuff will be cheaper, you know? Like,
It's true.
it'll be cheaper because and that's why I love kids. They're both their bir or 2 of my 3 kids, their birthdays are in January, so it's like,
Ooh,
uh, Boxing Day, I'm like, "Okay, what didn't they get?" So I can get it, like,
I love that.
sale.
Kim's right, guys. Kim's right. There you go. Honestly, a lot of things are going to be cheaper. Yep.
Nobody cares where, when they get it if you have it's the thought. So don't come pressuring yourself, and you might as well keep that extra money for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I love that.
All right. So I'm going to read again. This is
Yay.
More Philosophy of Silver Birch, and it's the Silver Birch series, and it's compiled by Tony Ordson. And again, if you are interested in these books, you can actually go onto the website, www.spiritualtruthfoundation.org. Okay. And this is actually the Maurice Barbanel actually is part of he's kind of started this. So it's all it's just amazing books. And I really strongly if spiritualism is something that you are into and want to learn more about, uh it's it's really quite nice. Again though, it can be kind of archaic in the language. Like this stuff is like old, right? And it's
Hmm.
funny
Hmm.
because kids still read this stuff and it's just as relevant today as it was like
I
50
love
years
that.
ago,
I love that.
you know? So
And you know what,
I
Kim, I'll
think
do? I'm gonna link the website and the book link and everything again to the bottom of the description of the episode, so you guys can do click if you want to purchase the book or you want to even learn about it and whatnot. And again, if you really resonate with what Kim reads, and I'm telling you, I bet like 9 out of 10 of you will, shoot her a message. Shoot her a message. Her social media is going to be linked on this episode. Our social medias are always linked there. Just shoot her a message. She will answer any and all questions that you have.
I will do my very best. All right. So and this will kind of explain a lot of the reason why we will feel that disconnect. And you're going to kind of have to go back to some of our previous episodes, like meeting your spirit guide.
Yeah, which was
This is what we.
amazing.
Mhm. All right. This is called Spirit Celebrations Described. Though Christmas and Easter are primarily religious festivals, they've become increasingly tarnished by materialism and lost their basic luster. In this illuminating and inspiring address, Silver Birch describes how these events are celebrated in the beyond. His words go far beyond the relevance of these festivals and anticipate the time when love, compassion, mercy, and responsibility will guide men. The wolf will lie down with the lamb because there will be peace on earth. All right. So it it is a practice among those of us who belong to certain groups to retire to the inner spheres at two festivals which long predate your Christian counterparts, Christmas and Easter. These, as you know, have their origin in the celebrations in ancient times of the passage of the sun as it appeared to those who saw it in its appearance, its lengthening and shortening, the symbols of divine activity. When the sun attained its full glory, it was regarded as the period of resurrection, when nature sang its paean of praise and displayed in profound beauty for all to see. That which had been sown was reaped in its splendor and its growth. Correspondingly, there were the winter solstice when, after the high noon of summer, I don't like I really don't like the summer one. I like the winter because the days get longer, by the way.
True. I love it. It's true.
Everything is nature prepared and the husbanded itself, fertilizing and making ready all growth which had to appear when the cycle had achieved completion. So at Christmas, you had the birth of the sun, the end of the long cycle when there arose the first sign that new life was being born into the earthly world. Those times had significance to us because it was then that we received the greatest communion from the Great Spirit. You do not yet understand very much of the influence of the sun. At these times, we held for many days what you call seances. We received at those festivals much inspiration. So, when it comes again to the time which all of us are regarded as the most important times of our lives, we gather together and celebrate with those who are our own. This started with the influence of the sun, but that was only a symbol. There is an influence from all life to other life, from all matter to other matter, and from all planets to other planets. This time is chosen because all of us are associated with races whose religions were founded upon the laws of nature. To us, the festival of the birth of the sun was the greatest of all because it represented the beginning of a new era. It is the end of the cycle and the new one begins. Because these festivals were held in the world of matter, they were celebrated in the world of spirit. A spiritual meaning has now come out of them. Instead of celebrating the dawn of the new life, we now use it to celebrate. We now use it to, withdraw from the world of matter to get new power of the spirit so that we can bring new light to your world. So when he's talking about um, spirit, who is doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So them who are withdrawing,
Right, right, right.
okay? So they are withdrawing from you and this world, okay? So
Mm.
that's gonna be the reason why you're feeling a little bit,
Yeah.
um, down, all right? And because those of us who are associated in this task belong to more ancient races than your Western civilization, we utilize these festivals as opportunities for withdrawing to the inner spheres where we belong. We take counsel, we share experiences, we learn how far we have succeeded or failed. New plans are discussed. We meet those who sent us on our mission. So when you come here, um, you know, you spirit has sent you here for a reason. This is
Yeah.
your mission. So
Yep.
you guys have a mission.
Consciousness. Yep.
Okay. So this is it. They're going to go kind of talk to their bosses after they leave you here. Among them is the great figure of the Nazarene. And now, Nazarene, for those of you who may not know, is also Jesus, is who they be referring to as Jesus Christ, who is imbued with the task of teaching humanity the age old truth enshrined in all that we seek to do, that love is fulfilling of the law. I wish that you could see and hear the Nazarene and feel that great love as he encourages us in our missions, as he expresses his knowledge of all that has been done and urges us to go forward with new strength, with new hope, and with new vision, and with new purpose. He is not the Nazarene of the churches, exalted into a deified place, but a great spirit who strives still to serve through many instruments. For a short time, I am in the spheres where I now belong. To feel once again that vitalizing power of the spirit, so invigorating in its strength and so beautiful in all of its fullness, making you realize that life is when you are able to experience it in the higher realms of the spirit. I speak with all humility and with no pride at all. If all the beautiful paintings of the world, all of the inspired visions and all of the great artistry that you have ever heard in your world of matter and the deepest and greatest beauties of nature were all combined into one whole object, it would be but a very pale reflection of life in the higher realms. When the artist is filled with inspiration, he realizes that it cannot be expressed with his few pigments, and he longs for the colors that could be blended to produce that richness that has been given to his soul. But there is none, for spiritual truth and beauty exceeded material clothing. How can I describe spiritual exaltation in words? How can I describe the joy of meeting beings who radiate the great light of the Great Spirit, who are full of wisdom and understanding, mercy and tenderness, who know all before you convey it, who are aware of your innermost thoughts, who see the workings of your mind, and who know of your successes and failures? The great message of love, which has characterized all religions and which was epitomized in the teaching of the Nazarene, is still the one we proclaim in the name of the Great Spirit, who is the Lord of all life, the infinite creator. Thus, return to our true spiritual state, we experience some of the luster, joy, radiance, beauty, richness, nobility, and grandeur, which are our natural environment. We bathe in it, rejoice in it, and capture the glories that were our normal expression. That is our celebration. Then, counseled, enthused, refreshed, invigorated, recharged, and revived, we return to your cold, dark, dank, clammy, dark world to continue the task of piercing its fogs and mists, striving to shine through the light of the truth, which can guide and point the way for many weary travelers. Some of the spirit of love is expressed in your world at this Christmas time. It takes the form of geniality and generosity, the desire to give. It is to be seen in the remembering of old friends, cementing of old ties, the bringing together of those who have been parted, and the resolution to forget old enmities. Alas, that it should be preceded by the great Holocaust and bloodshed, when so many needless sacrifices are made of some of the greatest spirits dumb creatures. What a pity that the birthday of the Prince of Peace is commemorated by such a dreadful slaughter. The blood of innocent creatures has to flow in order to commemorate peace. This is a crucifixion of your world, celebrating peace by making war on innocent creatures. One day, love, compassion, mercy, and responsibility will guide man who has a dominion over the lesser creation, which looks to him for help. When these qualities are expressed in human life, bloodshed, cruelty, and needless horrible experiments which are wreaked on these innocent creatures will cease. The wolf will lie down with the lamb because there will be peace on earth.
Oh, I love that.
So, see, like they're talking like and like they go and regenerate and get, um, you know, more knowledge or whatever
Mhm.
that they coming to bring back to us. So that's why you're also going to be feeling that separation,
Right.
and I'm
Right,
not
right.
it's your spirit guides, it's your guides. It's not your loved ones. Your loved ones who have crossed over are not going to be going into these councils. Okay?
Mhm.
These are the ones who are helping us, guiding us.
Mhm.
Okay. And the reason why I want to make that distinction is there are people who have actually thought that meant that all their loved ones would leave them at Christmas,
Oh my
but they don't.
gosh.
They don't. But you've had this lifelong, whether you knew it or not, bond with your spirit guides,
Mhm.
and they're they've they've gone off like it's like taking a trip to Hawaii,
Mhm.
like and off they go to this beautiful land and enjoy the sun and the all the beautiful things that we couldn't even imagine.
I
So
love
that's why
that.
we love this. Yeah.
That's
So
beautiful. I really liked it. I really love that. I mean, I had never heard of this before. I'd never heard about any of it. And I was going to read it before, like I was going to look it up online. I was going to see what I could get to read it, but then I decided to hold off until you read it like live on the podcast. Um, wow. You were so right though. When was that written? Do you know when that was written?
when did he do like this has the original first published in 1979.
Wow. And it's 2025/6 and it carried over.
Yeah.
Like, it
Um,
resonates from decades.
yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah, like, this was um, the early days. Let me see if I can find any more.
Mm,
Kinda talks about books. Um, yeah, I don't see exactly there are dates. I'm completely some days I'm just uh this goes back quite a distance. If you ever wanna listen to Silver Birch, I have found some few there's not a lot, and that's why I think the books are so expensive to
mhm.
get. The books aren't expensive, it's the shipping from the
Oh,
UK,
okay.
and, um, So with that, you can go on YouTube and look up Silver Birch, Maurice Barbanel, and there will be some like he'll be doing some trance. It's trance mediumship. Okay, so
Okay.
voice will change for when it's Silver Birch, opposed to what Maurice
Mhm.
Barbanel would sound like when he was doing it. End of note, Maurice Barbanel was an atheist. Started off as an
How common though? How
and
common is that for atheists to
yeah,
by the way, guys, I used to be agnostic. Okay. Yeah, something's out there,
yeah,
something's out there. I know something's out there. I used to be agnostic. And the amount of people that I now know in this,
I know.
I mean, industry, I guess I would call it, in a sense, that were atheists or agnostics like me and now are spiritual, you would be shocked. I'm talking famous coaches, famous spiritualists, favorite me. You would be shocked. Okay. And I really actually think that they should talk about that a little bit more. And they should have that, out there. I mean, and I understand why they won't, why a lot of them have told me why they don't talk about the fact that they used to be atheists or agnostics, and that's fine, to each their own. But I actually think it's so important for people to realize that you can believe in zero, zilch, nothing, or complete science, like over here, me, and still know that there's something out there that is just not logical, right?
Well, that's what spiritualism is. It's a religion, it's science,
Mhm.
it's a philosophy.
Mhm.
And it answers for me so many questions that I always had because I'm
Mhm.
very inquisitive about like I'm probably that one who's really annoying to watch a movie with because I'll be like, that's dumb. Why are they doing that? That wouldn't happen. You know, so
Rabbit.
me, but it's just like my brain is constantly going, what? Like what? How do they think this is supposed to make sense? Right.
Mhm.
So I could probably be quite annoying, but that's how I am, and that's how I am with everything. Going through things like, "Oh, this can't get broken." How like just the things that go through my head, right? Like that just
Mhm.
want to push on everything, and spiritualism just answered those things.
Mhm.
I'm a minister, like I'm a
Mhm.
reverend. Like
Mhm.
I never in a million
Never
years would
expected.
have
Yeah.
ever expected this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I so like it's so empowering and it's like it's so fulfilling once you start to um you know get into it and you start
Mhm.
to really realize you wake up to what's all happening and you see all these things that are
Yes.
happening and how they're being manipulated and I think that's just what we're supposed to be doing. I guess that's the
Mhm.
goal for become awake.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But like I said, I'm gonna link that book that Kim read to this if you guys want to dive into it. I'll link whatever I can about him to this in case people do want to just, go down the rabbit hole a little bit and educate themselves. I think it's very interesting. I love that you saved that passage for this episode because I know you mentioned it before, but I really like that you saved it for this episode because I think that it really resonated. I knew it was going to when she told me a little bit of what it was about, but wow.
Um, on the website, the spiritual truth foundation.org. I There is also there's books you can get. I believe there's some audio stuff you can get. You might have to pay to get like maybe to get access to some of it, but I
Mhm.
absolutely if it's something that you're interested in, I absolutely 100% encourage you to go to it and do it. Like I bought all
Mhm.
the books
Mhm.
because I
Wow.
knew I liked them. I bought all the book. I think there's like 18 or something at the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I had the whole series up till then, and it was very crazy to come from
Mm.
the
Yeah. Yeah. But how uplifting,
so
like that one, just that one passage you read. Look how uplifting that was. You know,
mhm,
it was
and
very,
it
very
just it
interesting.
I just think for people who have like the spiritual burnout or the blues or whatever, um, it's really helpful to kind of see. how things actually are,
Mhm.
or what spirit says things are. Because then you'll start going tink, 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 like, oh my goodness,
Mhm.
I get that.
Yeah. It makes sense. It ends up making sense. It, like, connects the dots in a way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
And it also
And
helps you feel a little bit not crazy for some of you.
oh, absolutely. Because how many times have you thought you were crazy? Or,
Uh-huh.
like, this shouldn't, or people are telling you, like just today, advertising the church's tea, and
Mhm.
somebody, because we always have some, was like,
Oh,
"Oh, look
Lord.
at you. You're a church practicing witchcraft." Like
Ooh,
people
fun.
just need to, you just hide. like,
Yeah.
like
Stop that.
block. Um, but that's, like, this can happen to you when you're on TikTok, or like the
Yeah.
internet is a crazy,
Yeah.
crazy place. You can find
Yeah.
such amazing things, and you can find such horrendous things. And I strongly urge you to always look for the most amazing things, the things that fill
Oh,
you up.
yeah.
If you're, especially at this time of year, if you're watching news stories, things like that, and, I know you can do it on Facebook, I'm not sure about all the other stuff, but if you're finding your algorithm is, like, shooting out, like, um,
Oh, right. Yeah.
horrible,
Blech. Yeah.
like, if you're following it, unfollow, or
It's
say,
it's right.
you know whatever you
Mhm.
need to do, and if it comes up with interested or not interested, and there's, like, I don't know, I watched this, Gatlin Ray, she's like a, oh, I can't remember what kind of monkey she is, but she's the cutest little monkey. She's like 13 years old. She lives with this family.
Okay.
Is like she's a person, and she's Starbucks and getting a little, she's addicted to Ready Whip. She's really, really cute.
Mhm.
I follow this other lady who has albino wallaby,
Okay. Oh,
and
mommy.
her name's Moki.
Mhm.
I watch them on TikTok. You know, just like I find those things. I
Yeah.
would
The
rather
happy
watch those
things, the
things that
cute
make me
things.
happier. There's a Cincinnati Zoo, I think it is.
Mhm.
I think it's a Cincinnati Zoo, like a, Facebook page that always
Oh,
has, like,
yes.
these, like, you have little sloth things, or, like, oh my gosh, it's, like, so many baby animals, that makes me happy, you
It's funny
know?
you said that because
And
there's a couple zoos that live stream, like,
there's
their baby pens and stuff, and I will check them throughout, like, I will check them because they're so adorable to see the cubs running about and stuff. Like, so it's funny that you said that because honestly, I check them because I know I'm always gonna be like, "Ah," or I'm gonna get a laugh, right? It's so interesting you said that. Love it.
Well, there's so many things that you can find out there that
I
isn't
know.
bad. Like, there's this one, I don't even know how I get it every once in a while, but it'll be like somebody who live streams on Rodeo Drive, like,
Oh.
literally, or, well, like, they had the parade, Thanksgiving parade there, and
Mhm.
so they were live streaming that, and there was, like, the 90210 original cast was, like, there in different
Oh,
vehicles, um,
I love that
they're
show.
just there, or another one that I came across, actually last night, was, like,
Mhm.
some guy who's, I think he was Yahoo, and he was just kind of, live streaming the sunset in Hawaii
Oh.
at the
Oh,
on the
I love
on
when they do that.
you know? Yeah,
I
like, you
love
can
when they do
find
that
these
stuff.
things that are, yeah, so much nicer than, having all these news stories about whatever. Um, because watching them and making yourself feel bad is not gonna make anything different, and not make anything better. So,
Absolutely not.
take an active stance, and, actively fill your algorithm with happy, silly, ridiculous things.
Mhm.
My most favorite one is, I think it's on Mondays and Wednesdays in the morning. I
Mhm.
think I missed it today. It's like Bubbles something or other, and it is a doggy daycare,
Oh.
which, for like an hour on these days a week, they are in a pool. It's a saltwater
Oh,
pool, and these dogs are playing in the water, and they're running around, and, like, they're all like these daycare dogs that come for, like,
I
swimming,
love that.
and, you know, and it's live stream, and it's these dogs, and, like, some of the stuff that happens, you like, is so funny, like, this one dog, last week somehow got open into an office, and they're like, how do you do that? And
I
they're just
love
running around, and some of them have one has a little shark fin, and he's swimming around, and they're funny. They're like, and it's just it's happy. Do what you
yeah,
need to
moments of
do.
happiness.
Lift your
Yeah.
spirit.
No, it's very true. I mean,
Mm.
during seasons like this, you need that moment, those moments of happiness, those moments of joy, because they help you remember what the entire season is technically about, what it should be about, right? I mean, life is a series of moments. That's all that life is. So you want to make sure that you're living those moments, the best for you, right? That's why, Kim and I are like, cut down your expectations. If you don't want to do things during the season, if you know it's going to depress you, if you know it's going to wipe you out, make you tired, make you miserable, cut them down, right? Enjoy those moments that, are going to make you laugh, like those cute live streams, or, are going to, make you feel really, really in touch with who you are, right? But I do have a question. I do have a question. Okay.
But
Are you ready for this question? Okay, so I technically have two questions because somebody knew that we were going to
okay.
do this as a theme. So I might do that one first instead of the one that I got asked about meditations, and I might push that, or maybe we'll do both. Maybe we'll do both um, if we have time. So the first question I had was, and this is from a longtime client, like a year plus, and she said, uh a whole thing. Basically, she's Catholic. She's Catholic, right? She was raised Catholic. She doesn't really go to church, she says, but she was saying that as I'm getting older, I find it much harder to connect with my spiritual slash religious side. I feel like I'm constantly forcing any prayers at dinner, any connection to the masses or the services I go to. It's driving me a little bit crazy. I don't know how I should reconnect that way. She didn't want me to tell her name, so I'm not saying her name.
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing you need to do is sit down and think why you're not connecting anymore. What about it is causing that disconnect or causing you to feel like you have to do it or causing you to not enjoy it if you did enjoy it before.
Uh-huh.
And the big thing we have to really give ourselves grace is we change
Oh, yeah.
our experiences, everything. So just because you used to enjoy something, 10, 15 years ago, doesn't mean you need to still keep on enjoying it,
Uh-huh.
because you have lived life, you have um, had different experiences. So I think this is the time that you actually sit down in quiet and say, Spirit,
Mhm.
lead me to where I need to be.
Yep. Yep.
And
Ask
be
for it.
open. Be open. This is where you new experiences, that you find the new stuff. You find, like, maybe, find some parts of spiritualism, or,
Mhm.
you can curtail, like, there's just because somebody said this is how you have to do it, doesn't mean that's how you have to do it.
Mhm.
That's somebody
Good
else.
point.
So, if you enjoyed certain parts of it before, and you maybe still might think you might enjoy certain parts, then only do those certain parts.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
and don't put pressure on yourself to have it all the way, because you're never gonna be the person you are right now again, because things are gonna happen. Things are gonna change. So don't have the expectations that you're not a tree. You don't have that
Mhm.
expectation that you're never gonna move or grow. Um,
Yeah.
because you do. I don't like a lot of things I used to like when I was 20.
Yeah, fair.
You know,
Absolutely,
um,
yeah.
and we just have to remember that. You
Mhm.
know, like, there's probably bands you used to listen to when you were younger that now you're like, oh gosh, like I couldn't even handle that. Like, so I just think to not let yourself get so disappointed. It almost sounds like
Yeah.
she's disappointed in her lack
Yeah.
of um getting out of it. So don't put that pressure on it, and basically talk to spirit and think to yourself, what are the things, again, you make a list. What are things that I do enjoy? Is there anything about this I enjoy?
Yeah.
Um, and just talk to spirit. What can I do?
Hmm.
What is meant for me? Doors can close, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. You're right though. You're very right because there's when you said that, somebody has the rules or somebody says that's how it's supposed to be, with a lot of religions, yes, that's the case. Of course. But I got to tell you something. Um, whatever you believe in, God, angels, Jesus, to each their own.
You
You don't have to go into a building to communicate with
don't
God.
have to go into a building
Okay.
to communicate.
God
No.
doesn't care whether you're in a
Okay.
temple, whether you're in a beautiful church, or whether you're on your bed, okay, or walking in a park and talking and praying to them. They don't care. I think that there's a lot of pressure with that. And You're right. During the holiday season, a little bit more pressure to connect spiritually at times and to connect religiously to whatever you believe in. And a lot of people do have trouble, I think, more than anything. Um, like Kim said, sit down and maybe what resonated with you when it came to your spirituality and your religion doesn't resonate anymore like it used to 5 years ago. Maybe you don't believe anymore 100% into that. Maybe you're leaning towards something else, but it's worth investigating and it's worth knowing there's no right or wrong way for you to connect spiritually or religiously to anything or anyone out there. There isn't. There's no right or wrong way, right? Um, so yeah.
We have to normalize that too, right? Like, not be just because somebody said this is what you have to absolutely do, doesn't mean that's what you absolutely have to do. Like, there's like some of the stuff, it is, I think going to church at this time of year is probably even worse because you've got all these people going because they feel like this is something they have to do. So that energy, the vibrations in there have got to
Ugh.
be just like thick and not very happy, right?
Yeah.
Because,
Mhm.
not everybody's happy.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They feel like they have
The
to.
kids will
Like you
get
said, they feel like they have
maybe
to.
see Santa and get their little orange. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So don't feel pressured. Don't feel pressured if you're having trouble connecting. Like Kim says, you might have outgrown it. I have always been more spiritual than religious, but what I believed in spiritually 10 years ago completely different than what I believe in now. And before that completely different. We're constantly changing, we're
Oh,
constantly evolving. You
where did
should
you
be
go?
constantly changing and you should be
Hello?
constantly evolving, right?
Who?
We have a few more minutes left.
All right. Did you wanna do the other question?
Yes, we can. So the other question, Um, is it normal to hear voices or sounds during meditation? And this comes from a client of mine. Her name is Izzy. She said that she listened to one of our podcast episodes and we talked about meditating and praying and whatnot. And that she said she decided, you know what, that was her sign. She was going to start meditating. And she did some meditation like with music, but she wasn't really getting it. So she did some sound waves and that was working okay. And then she just did it in silence. And she said that when she was like concentrating and she really felt like so calm and so centered, she swore she could hear like somebody saying her name in her ear. And then it happened the second time. And then she stopped for a while because she got a little bit scared. So she's asking if it's normal.
Absolutely, it's normal. Very likely. She has a connection to spirit that she
Hmm.
has not fully become aware of yet. So
Hmm.
when she's hearing things that aren't her voice, that is spirit communicating with
Yeah.
her. Yeah. So it's either like it could be a loved one, uh, and it's nothing to be scared about. Because they're not gonna hurt her. They're there with love. Not they're scared when she's doing it, she's feeling peace. So, I would strongly encourage her to kinda start looking into it to see because she would probably very much enjoy the communication with
Hmm.
spirit.
No,
I
I agree.
don't I personally don't hear or so I'm different. Like, I would love that. Like, I think that would just be awesome. Uh,
Hmm.
but I don't. I just know stuff, and I don't know why I know it. I just know it and say it. So,
Hmm.
um, it's weird. So if you do have that happening, I would definitely keep practicing, investigating, and working with it because very possibly you are channeling spirit or they're communicating with you,
Right.
tell you something.
Right. Yeah. 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 I did tell her, I told her only briefly. I said, I'm going to ask him and we'll put it on the podcast and you can listen to it. But I said, if you're too nervous to go into it this week, take another break, take another week, you slow down. And then I said, and approach it without, any fear or any anxiety, because I said it doesn't, especially since when she hears her name, she said it's very, like, it's very calm. She said it was very quiet and calm. Like, it didn't scare her at all. She was just like, whoa, like, it shocked her more than anything. It surprised her. It stunned her. Right. And I did say that's a good sign. If it freaked you out, that's a completely different sign. Right.
Yeah, if you're not feeling scared, it's absolutely the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, guys, I think this is it for this amazing episode. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Any questions, you guys know you can throw them down below in the comments. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for liking and sharing and subscribing because we hit our goal. Did we talk about that last episode?
Yeah, we did. I
Oh, we
wonder
did. Oh,
we had talked we had talked about wanting to get to, 50 for
uh-huh.
YouTube. So,
And
let's
we
see.
did.
What do we have now?
Yeah. Give us a live update.
Oh, it says we have 49.
Oh, so we lost one.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. Come back. What the heck? It's Christmas. Come back. Anyway, um,
Well, we'll when we get to 50, we'll be very happy.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I thought we were at 50 and we weren't. I don't know.
I think we did get something that we were at 50, but somebody probably unsubscribed or whatever, like, sometimes, it could be.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, do like, do share, do subscribe, so we can hit our
Let us
50
know
goal.
what you think. Like, let us know, get some engagement. Like,
Yeah,
what are you thinking of this? Are you thinking we're like half-baked crazy ladies? I don't know. Are you finding enjoyment? Are we, are there things that you wanna hear about? We just wanna know, uh,
absolutely.
because we love doing this and we want you to love listening and being a part of it.
Absolutely. And we are going to start new episodes in the new year. So, any ideas, like Kim said, let us know. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know what you want to touch base on. We might have, I did have two separate people ask me if we're going to have a whole segment about Q&A, which we could in the new year, have an entire episode where we answer all your questions. We can do that as well. If that's something you guys are interested in, it would be fun. That would be a fun one, right?
Mm, mhm.
Yeah. But we are super excited for next week episode. Kim, do you want to announce what it is?
Well, it is basically Christmas miracles, I believe.
Yep. Stories about Christmas miracles. So we are asking all of you guys if you have any stories that you want to share. And I mean, they don't have to be miracles in a sense, but if they made you feel good, if they taught a lesson, if it was a sign that you asked for that came true, send it to us. Send it to us. We will read it on the podcast. That episode might be a little bit longer than an hour. So just letting everybody know that. So expect that it might be a little bit over an hour. We're not sure. Maybe it won't be. We'll see how much stories that we can get. But we're super excited to share that for you. I think people are really going to enjoy that episode. It's going to lift some spirits.
Well, and we'll be putting a call out on our social media as well, because you may or may
Yep.
not hear this by the time we've recorded them. So, whatever you do send us, that is a miracle that maybe doesn't make it to the podcast because of timing.
Mhm.
We'll look at doing something in the new year with
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
We need
Absolutely.
this. It's just there's so much going on. I think we need to remember that they're still good and that there's still
Mhm.
miracles, and not everything's
Absolutely.
bad and going the wrong way. So
Absolutely.
we need that lift. Maybe Blue Monday episode.
Yeah. Perfect. Seriously. Seriously. I love that. I love that idea so freaking much. Okay, guys, listen, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it so much. And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.